Good evening, everyone. How are you? Welcome to this Get the Gloss Masterclass. I'm Victoria Woodhall. I'm editorial director of Get the Gloss, and I'm delighted to see you all here this evening on this lovely baking hot day. So tonight we are going to be learning how to declutter your skincare routine with Dr. Declutter herself, Dr. Anita Sturnham, founder of Declutter and of the Naris Skincare Clinic in Wimpole Street in London. So before I invite her on, just a little bit of housekeeping as to how the next 45 minutes will run. Some of you may have been to our masterclasses before. So first of all, I hope you received your it's been a long day. Declutter discovery sets. Weren't they amazing? We will be sharing a discount code valid for the next 2 weeks if you are inspired to want to go on to buy any of the products full size. That's a 20% discount code, GTG20. And Dr. Anita will be taking us through all the products and helping us learn exactly why she formulated them and what their unique benefits are. We will also be offering 15 people, first come, first served, an opportunity to have a declutter or consultation session online with one of Anita's team. It is first come, first served. So if you're watching live tonight, you get first dibs. So you need to email, I'll put it in the chat. You'll need to email events@declutter.co.uk and say that you'd like to have one of these online sessions. They really are something worth having, but I'll put all that in the chat and we'll also send it to you in the follow-up email tomorrow. So we're going to be here for the next 45 minutes. Dr. Anita is going to do an explanation of a little bit about herself. We're going to declutter my quite cluttered skincare routine here, and please do put all your questions in the chat as we go. This really is your chance to connect with one of the top skin experts in the business. So let me, without further ado, bring Anita in. Anita, please, if you could unmute yourself and switch your camera on. Here she is, I think. Send her a little nudge. Here she comes. Anita, if you can switch your camera on, I can bring you in.
Hi, Victoria. It says you've declined me on the video. It says the host is no longer accepting video.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Let me just have a look. Sorry, technical hitch. Okay. I don't know why that would be, but I am going to sort it out right now. Right. Excuse me. I will just have to. Right, I don't know why that has happened. Is anyone adept at Zoom? Right, let me find the participants.
It says you've disabled the video.
Yeah, hang on. I am going to sort this out. I do apologise. Oh, here we go. Okay. Apologies, everyone. I think when I opened the waiting room, I disabled the video. So, thank you so much for bearing with us. I found it. Here we go. Oh gosh, this is really sent to try us, isn't it? This. Here we go. Here we go. Right.
Let's try again.
Now.
That's looking more promising. Yes.
Hooray.
Hi.
We've got you. Oh, thank you. Oh, well, welcome, Anita. I'm sorry for that technical hitch, everyone. And welcome. I mean, it's such a delight to have you here. I've been so excited to welcome you because I've used your products for quite a long time. And where's she gone? And they really are very, very cleverly formulated. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey into skincare?
Sure. So lovely to meet you all, obviously virtually. I'm Dr. Anita Sturnham, as Victoria mentioned, and I have a clinic in London called Naris Skincare. That's actually where the inspiration behind the range we're going to mention today, Declutter, came from. But my background is I'm a medical doctor, trained at Bristol Medical School and started off my career actually as a surgeon. but fell in love with the dermatology side of medicine very early on. I was posted in a skin cancer unit, and my job as the junior doctor was to do what was considered the less exciting job, and that was to be stuck in clinic all day examining patients. And I became really kind of interested in dermatology as a specialism. I then went and completed postgraduate training at St Mary's Medical School in dermatology, and have combined both my medicine and my dermatology as a dual specialism for the past now 17 years.
Wow.
So I'm a big believer in not just looking at the skin from the outside, but also looking at the skin from the inside as well. So what I mean by that is there's a really strong connection between your hormones, your gut health, and they really interlink with your skin health as well.
Yeah.
Before doing my own range, I actually worked as a medical advisor for other kind of brands, the well-known brands on the market. I've done kind of medical groups with Unilever brands, Procter & Gamble, Superdrug, and then eventually went on to do my own clinic line, which was called Nuri Skincare. I had no ambitions for it on the retail kind of arena, but I wanted to have something for my patients that I truly believed in. Because up until 2014, I worked in multiple dermatology clinics, and we would stock up to 20 different brands, and none of the doctors really had one brand that they really loved. And we always felt a bit embarrassed that when we were recommending skincare routines, we were having to cherry pick a cleanser from one, a serum from another. And it felt wrong that we couldn't find one brand we truly believed in. So when I launched my own clinic, I wanted to have a skincare line that I believed in. I created Nuri Skincare. We had 32 products, very different categories, which you still see in skincare lines today. So we had a range for anti-aging, a range for pigmentation, a range for acne, a range for men, a range for women. And what I found over the years of looking after my patient's skin, I was using the same active ingredients to get best results. So it became very, very clear I didn't need to have so many different, confusing, cluttered categories, and I could simplify Decree, the skincare line, down to something more concise, which was an inspiration behind Decree. But then my patients were also the main inspiration. And for those who are watching, who've been to see me at my clinic, you'll know I'm obsessed with skincare. I spend 1 hour with every single new patient, and I get them to bring all their products in. So I can look at what they're using on their skin. I watch what they do in the morning in terms of the type of products they use, the order that they use them, how much they use, how they remove them, and then move on to their nighttime routine and their weekly routine. And that enables me to see often where they're going wrong with their skin. When I did an audit of 2 years of my clinical practice, we found that 90% of the skin issues that I see and treat are often self-inflicted, and the number one cause is the choice of skincare. And the two big trends I've seen over the years, consistently for the past 18 years, are overusing product, causing mayhem in our skin. So those that love skincare tend to have way too many products. And there tends to be no routine and no consistency. And they kind of pick a mix style. What they're using on their skin each day, each week is really random. And the skin has its own built-in immune system. Every time you apply something to the surface, your immune cells tune into that product, and they try and work out whether it's a friend or an enemy, and they decide whether to attack it or not. The other trend that I've seen way too often is the obsession with exfoliation, because we all want that clear, beautiful, flawless skin tone. And in an attempt to achieve that, we often overdo those exfoliants. So whether that be mechanical exfoliation with kind of scrubs and brushes and things, or whether it's kind of using more the fruit acid, fruit enzymes, I was seeing double cleansing, fruit acid cleansers, fruit acid toners, followed by fruit acid serums, followed by masks and scrubs. And then when I go to assess my patient's skin with our skin scanner, we'd see so much kind of inflammation and barrier compromise. So the skincare makes a massive difference. Sometimes I don't need to be a clever doctor. I just declutter the skincare back down to something much more simplified, much more structured, and more suited to that person's skin type. And the skin is suddenly chilled and happy, and it's relieved that it's not having to constantly chop and change kind of how it kind of assesses the product you're using each day. And I often say to my patients, your skincare is a little bit like your breakfast, lunch, and dinner for your skin. It is a medical organ. We sometimes forget that. It has important jobs. It protects our organs. It helps to regulate temperature. It makes hormones. if we don't feed it with the right nutrients, it won't be healthy. And our skin is a very unique organ because we can feed it in 2 ways. So I've got my little nerdy model here, which I always have in clinic. What we put onto the skin this way is one form of topical nutrition. And then what we have in our diet and supplements feeds the skin through our blood supply into the dermis. So when we are using skincare, it is relevant because it is one form of nutrition for your skin. Are you feeding your skin with junk food, or are you giving it key essential nutrients we know the skin needs to be healthy? And if you ever have a skin issue and you've been to a doctor for help, you'll know that one of the first things they'll prescribe is something topical. So if you put a well-formulated product onto the surface in a topical form, that's the quickest way to get healing nutrients into the skin more effectively. So if you think about that when you're thinking about your skincare choice. So that's kind of a little whistle-stop tour of why I'm so obsessed with skincare and why I'm so into getting that bit right. Because if I don't get the foundations right with my patients, I don't want to waste your time with clinic treatments, because this is your essential basic step to getting the best out of your skin. We know the skin prefers to have a consistent routine. We know the skin has its own kind of receptors for essential nutrients. So if we can get some of those into your routine, then we know our skin will be happier and healthier. We'll talk about that as we go through the declutter session. And we know that our skin has slightly different needs in the morning versus the night. So we'll talk about that in a bit more detail when we, again, look at the type of products we should be opting for at those key times of day. So Decree was inspired by all of that. And the final inspiration was when I was looking at my patients' products on the table, I would see some things were barely used and other things were used to the point that they were cut open to get the very last drop. And I found that really, really interesting. So I'd ask my patients, why did you not use that product? And why did you finish this one? And they would tell me that the sensorial aspect of a product, so is the packaging beautiful? Did it make you feel special when you're using it? Were the textures nice? Did my makeup go on well afterwards? What does it smell like? Does it smell like raw materials, or that kind of the scientific kind of horrible, really sciencey smell that often you find with more clinical skincare? Or is it really heavily fragranced and off-putting? So all of these things really mattered to my patients. So I went back to the drawing board and I wanted to create a doctor-led line that was as efficacious as my existing, but less cluttered. So I put the active ingredients of those 32 products into 9 and launched Decree. So Decree is kind of your concise doctor-led skincare brand. We have multitasking, very hard-working products that I often call them strong but gentle. They're very strong. They have multiple actions and benefits for the skin, but they're very gentle. They won't leave your skin peeling and aggravated. And so it's a skincare routine that you can use consistently all year round.
Brilliant. Thank you for that whistle stop tour. I mean, I think there is the tendency for us to these days, with so many active ingredients and so many ingredient-led products, to try and sort of self-medicate when it comes to our skin. And I know you see when people come to your clinic, and as you'll see in my routine, I'm sure you'll find a few things that you can weed out that might be affecting my skin.
Yeah, this is always my favorite part of the consultation, kind of looking at what people are using. I can see your routine in the background, and actually it doesn't look too bad. I have some patients that bring in a whole suitcase with them, and they literally open it onto the desk. And it's either one extreme or the other. It's either that, lots of products, too many products, or people that aren't using anything at all. They may be using a bar of soap or face wipes. And they're really using very minimal on the skin, and usually they're people that have tried lots of skincare and are scared of it because they've had bad reactions. So we often have two kind of patient groups: those that are nervous and don't know where to start, and those that are overdoing it.
Yeah, I'd love everyone to put in the chat where you fall in that. Have you got masses of stuff that you maybe never finish, or are you a kind of one and done type person? Do let us know in the chat the sort of things that we might see in your bathroom shelf. Are they heaving, or are they minimal? So yeah, I'd be really keen to know, and we can put some of those questions to Anita. So should we do my routine?
Yeah. So where do we start when we do a declutter, and what's the point of doing a declutter? As I mentioned before, when we overload our skin, when we don't have a consistent routine, our skin often rebels. So it wants a routine that is a consistent one. It wants to know what it's getting each day. There are certain steps we can switch around, and we'll talk about that. but let's talk about how we can get the essential basic routine and take your skin on that journey to kind of healthier skin. So the first thing we want to do is organize your skincare products into categories, because it makes it much easier to declutter. So I've actually gone through my collection. I often get, like you, given brands as well to try.
Yeah.
So I put my skincare into categories. So I want you all to get your skincare and separate into cleansers, toners, serums, moisturizers, sunscreen, and then other. And the other will include products for the eye, the lips, any masks that you're using, any little devices that you might be using as well.
Yeah.
And that's a good starting point. This is really interesting as well, because this also helps to show you what your shopping habits are as well, because you'll often see, okay, you've got loads in one category and not very many in another. Why is that? Is that because you've not found the right product in the serum category and you've got 20? Why are you shopping that way? And it helps you to be more focused on your shopping as well.
Yeah.
What was really interesting when I laid out my products is I have hardly any serums and loads of sunscreens. I don't know if you can see, that's my sunscreen shelf all the way along there.
That they say is the kind of, if you don't use anything else, you should use sunscreen.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with me is I'm always trying brands, because I need to know what to recommend to my patients as well. And so I'm always trying brands. Some I love, some I'm not such a fan of, but these are ones that have remained in the fan club. So I'm sure people recognize some of those.
So in the chat, we've got some, Gabriella's got lots of cleansers. David loves a device. Julie says, I've got lots of products, but the only time I don't finish something is if my skin hates it. Well, that's good. You're obviously not wasting anything.
Yeah, exactly. That can be good, but I have so many patients that they're using things that aren't helping their skin and they want to finish it because they've spent a lot of money on it. And so that's one thing I get a lot. People who are using something, they're getting breakouts or their skin feels irritated, and they say, but this cost me £200, so I have to finish it.
It's got to be good. Yes.
So, and we feel, because we feel like we've overindulged and then we can't waste it. So we can talk a bit about that. A good sign is if you're using this product and your skin doesn't feel red and angry, it's not breaking out, it feels pretty happy, then great that you're finishing it. But if your skin is not behaving well, then that's the time to really kind of pause and do this reset and kind of get your skincare into a good place. So you've organized your products into your categories. Now it's time to do a bit of a culling session, unfortunately.
Okay.
So when we design skincare, when we formulate skincare, it's put through really kind of strict safety testing, and you'll find that products are given an expiry date. So on your products, I want you to look at your expiry dates, and anything that's gone past this expiry date needs to go in the bin. Because the reason for that is, first of all, you have microbial testing, which is looking at how well that the preservatives in a product are preventing it from getting contaminated with organisms, which will be unhealthy for your skin. And past that expiry date, that's when the test would have failed, that time period. So you need to make sure you're using products that are in date. And a lot of people have had things on their shelf in their bathroom for years. I don't know if you have anything like that in your collection.
Yeah,
Victoria.
I do have one, which we'll get to. So this one says, my moisturizer, for example, it says 12, it's not an actual date, it says 12 months. Is that
okay? That's the next thing. So on your, usually it should be on the primary or secondary packaging. It's a legal requirement to have an expiry date.
Yes, it's not, I haven't got the box anymore. So.
And we often just chuck the boxes in the bin straight away, don't we?
Yes.
So with all new purchases, you need to start paying attention. And I've got a little marker pen in my hands, because this is what you need. Whenever you buy a new product, you get the product and you get the expiry date and you write it on the bottle. Oh, so you know when that product needs to be used by. Now, the symbol that you just pointed out, Victoria, I don't know if you want to show everyone, the open jar symbol is called the PO date. Now, that's how long the product is safe to use once it's been opened.
See, it's down here.
So many of us will be using things that are way past their PO date. And again, that has been put through lots of safety tests to see how long it stays stable and how long it's safe and healthy to use for your skin in terms of contamination. So not only should you put the expiry date on your packaging, you should also write when you've opened it and when it needs to be used by, using the PO date. So a little marker pen, and you need to start kind of being a bit more organised with your skincare, and those things that are about to expire or the PO date is going to finish soon, put those at the front of your collection so you get through them first, so you don't waste them.
Yeah. What a brilliant idea. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're so organized. You're
So
like, you're
this
like
is,
Marie
you know,
Kondo of skincare.
so many people are using products that are not stable. The antioxidants will have oxidized. They're not putting anything good onto the skin, potentially contaminating their skin with products that the preservatives are no longer protecting the formulation. And quite often it's expired products that are making the skin worse. So it's really, really important to pay attention to that. So a lot of people will already have reduced their skincare clutter by about 20 to 30%, because anyone that loves skincare tends to hoard and tends to have things that they haven't used for a long time. After you've done that, the next step is to inspect your products, particularly things that you open and close a lot and can dip your fingers into. And jars are very easily kind of the biggest culprit for kind of products that are no longer good to use. So open your jars, things to look for. Do you see any moisture around the upper rim? Because if a product is contaminated, you often find it's a little bit, you sometimes even have bubbles of moisture at the top. So look for signs of
On the
moisture
lid
or bubbles. On the lid's a good place to look, and then the upper rim. The next thing you want to do is look at the colour of the product. Has it changed from being a nice white colour to a bit of a grey, grimy looking product? Yeah. Or does it still look like the original? The next thing is to look at, has it separated? Because if the product is no longer stable, you'll often find the ingredients break apart. Particularly, you might see like an oil layer on the surface. Any of those signs are signs that that product's probably past its.
Sometimes when you've got, for example, one of these with a pump, sometimes I find if I haven't used it for a bit, a sort of different color liquid comes out, and then a kind of clear.
That shouldn't really happen with a new product. If it does, I would go back to the brand and report that, because that should only really happen once the product's losing its stability.
Yeah. So is that yes, that would happen when I'd already opened it, but is that does that mean, oh, it's fine as long as I get use the clear stuff, or is that a kind of bad sign?
I would use that as a sign that that product isn't stable. Sometimes that happens if you've got really strong antioxidants and they haven't stabilized in the formulation. That's a problem when you use high levels of antioxidants. Yeah. Also, if you've got kind of oil, if you have emulsion, sometimes the emulsion can separate as well. And that's usually just where the product's been manufactured and not used for a long period of time, or kept in a very hot environment. So if you've had it kind of taken it on holiday and it's been in a very hot kind of environment, that can speed up the rate that it separates.
Right.
Okay. So inspect the product. Serums are classics for not being stable if they've got high levels of antioxidants. So look at the serum color. Often things like vitamin C serums start off as a nice like straw color. And then if they oxidize, the air gets into them, the vitamin C no longer becomes active. In fact, it can actually cause sensitivity issues and even breakouts if it starts to oxidize. So if it's become like a dark orange or a dark brown color, that needs to go in the bin.
Yeah.
So that's a common thing.
Like an apple goes brown.
Exactly. When it's oxidized. It's a sign that the antioxidants have kind of gone off, like an apple going off.
Yeah.
And so that should unfortunately go in the bin. It happens a lot with the more high strength, clinical strength serums. And again, some brands that have great products that are a bit unstable, you keep them in the fridge like you would keep your food items, and you may get a bit more use out of it.
Yeah. And also, I guess the jar is important. If it's in a jar, I've got one serum here. This is a peptide serum. This is in a clear bottle, but I think this is probably not got loads of antioxidants in.
If it's in a clear bottle, then actually, basically, it's probably not got loads of actives in it. It's probably quite a kind of a gentle, more of a conditioning product rather than a protective or reparative product. The other thing to look at as well, so you've inspected your products, you've looked at things that have gone out of date, you've cleared those off, and then are there things that you haven't opened that you've had for a long time? Why haven't you used them? Yeah. Is it something you're never going to use? Because that's something that you should get rid of, give it to a family member, or even donate it to kind of beauty banks or one of the charities. Because if we haven't used it within 6 months, 7 months, we're probably not going to use it. That's what I generally see, that it will just stay on the shelf and be replaced by the latest thing.
Arlene is saying, oh no, if she has an emulsion, she usually gives it a shake if it separates. Is that okay? Or
It can temporarily increase the lifespan of the product, but in a formulating world, we would say that's an unstable product.
Okay.
And it's a nightmare for formulators when that happens. We had a product when we were first developing it that kept separating. It's a formulation issue as well.
Okay.
So it does happen.
No, thank you.
Okay, so I mean, you don't look like you've decluttered much, Victoria, because you're probably the perfect skincare.
Well, I do have lots. I mean, I try to pick kind of one example of everything I use.
Yeah.
The thing is, you know, like when you're in the beauty business, it's quite hard to finish anything. So
yeah, exactly.
And now I'm going to be writing with pen on the bottom.
Exactly. So we've done some basic steps. Now let's look at what does our skin actually need in a routine, and that's the next step to decluttering. So I like to break it down into morning and evening. So first of all, I don't know how many of you out watching actually do a morning cleanse. It's a controversial thing. Some people say, if I've cleansed the night before, why do I need to cleanse in the morning? And over the years of looking after skin, I've definitely seen those that don't do a morning cleanse have got a lot more inflammation, bacteria overgrowth in the skin. They're more prone to breakouts. So overnight, your skin kind of does quite random things. Its anatomical and physiological needs change as well. So I can use my little nerdy model again to explain. So at night, our top layer, our epidermal barrier, randomly opens up. So our skin is more prone to water loss at night whilst we sleep.
Wow.
And then deeper, we've got glands that produce our natural hydrating oil, our sebaceous glands. They start to slow down and they produce a much kind of gloopier, stickier, more concentrated oil. So our skin's more prone to water loss, and we're not replacing that hydration very well whilst we sleep. We also know that we've got our melanocytes, which are like soldiers that sit along this layer here. They are our pigment producing cells. They protect our skin from UV rays, from blue light, from pollution, and any harmful things from kind of entering into the skin and damaging the DNA. And by the end of the day, they are knackered. They're like an umbrella that's blown inside out in the wind. We need to give those a good kickstart and get them ready for the next day to protect your skin. Then you've got some great things going on. You've got some really hyperactive cells at night. Your fibroblasts, which make collagen and hyaluronic acid, are raring to go. If you give them the right nutrition, the right building blocks, they will repair and build connective tissue whilst you sleep. So we know that if we look at what the skin needs anatomically, physiologically, and adjust our skincare strategy to give it those nutrients, then we can get much more out of our skin routine. In the morning, our skin's job is very different. We want our skin to protect us from the environment. So when we step out of the house, we want a nice strong barrier. We want skin that's nice and hydrated, and we want lots of antioxidants so we can start to kind of fight free radical damage and keep our skin protected. So my main kind of message is, do not strip your barrier at the start of your day. Unless you're on a medicated skincare routine for a condition like acne, you do not need to be doing double cleansing or really strong exfoliating steps in the morning. You want a nice, gentle cream or gel-based cleanser, one that's really hydrating. I love looking for ingredients like glycerin, which is a natural humectant that draws moisture in, nice kind of rose water, rosehip extract, aloe, Condrus crispus extract, so nice algae extracts in your cleanser. So do you have a nice cream or gel-based cleanser for the morning?
First of all, hands up. I splash my face with water in the morning. That is or sometimes I go in with a like a microfiber pad.
Okay.
I don't use a cleanser, so that's me told. So
okay.
What are we looking for? A gel cleanser?
So cream or gel-based cleanser to start with.
This is my cream or gel-based cleanser. It's a new Korres organic Greek range detox toning emulsion cleanser.
Okay.
And it's really nice. It's quite light and milky. I'll show you. Oh, I haven't got
Great. That looks lovely. That looks perfect.
It does get your eye makeup off as well. It does get everything off.
Yeah, so exactly. So something like that. So this is our Decree Light Cleanse, which is a rose-based cream cleanser. It looks a very similar consistency. So it's a nice creamy, hydrating. So your morning cleanse should be there to kind of remove any remnants of overnight skincare, excess oil, debris. It really helps to prepare your skin for your next products as well. Non-stripping, you don't need to double cleanse, do one cleanse and then move on to your next step. Now, toners are controversial in the world of dermatology. Are you a toner fan or not?
When I remember, so I would use I've got two here. I've got a gentle PHA exfoliant, which is lactobionic acid and gluconolactone. So these are for and glycine bonded with azelaic acid.
Okay.
So I find that nice and sort of quite watery and hydrating in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. So toners, as I said, controversial. A lot of toners on the market I wouldn't touch for the morning because often they are heavily alcohol loaded, and that's added so you get a really nice refreshing degreasing feel when you use the product, but it's not going to be great for protecting your skin barrier function. So you want to have a water-based toner. The way of telling is to look at the ingredient list. Yes,
I've also got this one, Skin Vinegar by Galeno.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Has it got alcohol?
So you want to have aqua, deionized water, rose water. In the kind of the top kind of 4 ingredient list.
Aqua, glycerin, alpha glucan, oligosaccharide, inulin, lactic acid.
Okay.
Water. Yeah, I don't think it's got alcohol in. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good product. So if you see anything ending in OL in the first 4 ingredients in your product on the INCI list on your toner, then don't use it. Not in the morning. Your morning toner should be hydrating. Why do we need a toner? Actually, that's a good starting point, isn't it? So when you've done a cleanse, even with a nice gentle cream or gel cleanser, your skin can shift from becoming slightly acidic to slightly alkaline. Your skin is happiest when it's a pH of around 5.5, which is slightly acidic. So one of the jobs of a well-formulated toner is to reset your pH back to a level that your skin is at its happiest. So we designed the Decree Preparatory Mist to be just that. So it's a mist toner. I wanted to reduce the wastage of using cotton pads as well with the toner.
Yeah,
so you literally mist this over the face and neck. Now the ingredients, we have rose water, aloe, glycerin. We use an antioxidant blend, coenzyme Q10, orange, cucumber, papaya, orange extract as well. So I always say if a toner's ingredients sounds good enough to eat and drink, it's probably a nice toner for your skin. So check water in the top few ingredients. Does it have alcohol in the top few ingredients? If it does, put that to one side. Is it packed full of lots of antioxidants? Yes, great. Probably a great toner. So we know from kind of more recent studies that when you do a good cleanse and toner step, your serums, which in my mind are one of the most important steps, will penetrate deeper and work more effectively. So it is a preparatory step to do a good cleanse and tone in the morning. But again, focusing on hydration and protection, not stripping.
So no acids in the morning.
No, you mentioned PHA. Now that's something I get asked about a lot.
This one.
So polyhydroxy acids I do like, but I prefer them more in the nighttime routine, and I'll come to that when we do so polyhydroxy acids are they fall under the alpha hydroxy acid family. They are a gentler form of exfoliant. So if you are prone to sensitivity, it's quite a nice product, but I find everyday use of that in the morning is often too drying. And I prefer to use that kind of product at nighttime. Okay. So we've got your cleanser and your toner sorted. Yeah. Now we're going to move on to your serum. So what are you using in the morning at the moment, serum wise?
Right. So I will sometimes use, it will be a combination of, so I've got my 30% vitamin C. Mm-hmm. I have got this, if I'm using this Beauty Pie Youth Bomb, which is a peptide-based glow serum, which is really light. I do really like the texture of this. So I might use that first. So I try and go for the lighter textures first. Oops. Yeah. And then I might mix this niacinamide from La Roche-Posay. Yeah. With the vitamin C, or if I can't be bothered, I'll just use one or the other.
Okay. So this is classic, somebody that understands what the skin needs. Actually, our skin has receptors for all of those ingredients. They are considered to be essential nutrients for your skin. And this is what historically a lot of people have done. They know the skin likes those ingredients in the morning. So they'll find a couple of products and they'll layer them. Now, this is where problems start to creep in, because when you use brands and products that weren't designed and tested to go together, there's an increased risk of interaction, reactions with your skin, sensitivity. Sometimes you'll find products even neutralize each other out. So they might have one might have a more of an acidic formulation, one might be more alkaline, one might have a water base, one might have an oil base. So actually, the modern way of looking at serums is to find your multitaskers. Really? And thankfully, there are lots of, particularly the clinical brands, are really moving in the direction of multitasking one product that does everything. So I actually used to have 4 serums in my old range, and I put all of those ingredients into this one product, which is the Decree Protect Elixir. Now,
Yes,
some of the things you mentioned, so this has got your vitamin C. Now, this vitamin C is quite an interesting one because it's a great ingredient, really good for protecting your skin from the environmental aggressors, really good for brightening skin as well, great anti-aging ingredient. But a lot of people struggle with vitamin C, particularly if they have rosacea or sensitive skin or breakouts. So it's looking at the type of vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is the most well used in skincare, but that's the one that people struggle with the most.
Yeah, that's in my products.
Yeah. So my general advice is, if you are prone to sensitive skin or any of those things I've just mentioned, look for vitamin C at kind of at 10% dose, and look for a type of vitamin C called ascorbyl glucoside. Now, that is a really clever form of vitamin C because when it's applied to the skin, it's converted into ascorbic acid. So you get all the benefits of ascorbic acid without the sensitivity. Yeah. So in this product, we have the vitamin C, we have the niacinamide, we have the panthenol, the B vitamins, which are great for antioxidant protection, boosting ceramide function, protecting your skin. We have coenzyme Q10, another great ingredient for skincare. We've got ferulic acid, which is really important to look for in a vitamin C serum. It helps to stabilize the vitamin C as well. So that's like my dream antioxidant blend to have in a day serum. But I also love peptides, which you have. And so I included peptides in this too. We have a copper peptide complex, and we've blended it with zinc and magnesium, which act a bit like transporters, like postmen. They carry the antioxidants into your skin cells so your skin uses them more effectively. I'm obsessed with rose water. So this is in a rose water base. And we also have high molecular weight hyaluronic acid in every product in Decree. So it's kind of like your Uber serum. So no need to layer. It's one really kind of concentrated product that ticks all the boxes in terms of the key nutrients your skin needs at that time of day.
Yeah.
So
I guess with a multitasking serum, you're not going to let it kind of molder in the cupboard and not use it, because if you just got one thing, you're going to use it up.
Yeah, and the serums are the step I often see people really struggling with, because people will often have up to 10, 15 serums. They're kind of randomly using them, not quite sure which order to put them on. And that's where people are often upsetting their skin, because these are the products that are designed to be a bit more active. So they're the ones that can cause mayhem quite easily if it's not done well. So reduce the clutter, find one product that's hardworking and multitasking, and stick with it, because these serum ingredients are ones that your skin needs consistently all year round. Those needs don't change as you go through the seasons. They are key core nutrients your skin needs to be at its optimal health. And then the final step after your serum in the core steps is your moisturizer. So what goes on in the day for you?
So I tend to get I'm on the dry side. My skin always feels a bit thirsty towards the end of the day. So this is my sort of liposomal moisturizer. It's by Declutter. That's a Japanese brand.
Yeah.
It's a bit scented for me. I don't tend to like scented stuff, but I do like the texture of this.
Well, you clearly like it because it's nearly empty, which is a good sign.
Coming back to that one.
Yeah. So so you tend to stick with one moisturizer in the morning?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So what I recommend, it's actually quite helpful to own 2 moisturizers, because your skin's needs, this is the one step where you might want to switch it around according to your hormones, your stress levels, whether you've traveled, the climate. Hot days like this, you probably want something much lighter, and in the winter, maybe a thicker barrier. So I often say, find 2 moisturizers that you love, a light texture and a rich texture. Ideally, one that has quite similar active ingredients, because you want your moisturizer to kind of seal all that goodness in and support that protective barrier. So you want ingredients that are going to be humectant to draw moisture in, occlusive to trap moisture in, and emollient ingredients to condition the skin so it feels really kind of plump and smooth and hydrated. So looking for a moisturizer that kind of does all of that. And that's actually why I designed these products, because again, I had about 6 moisturizers in my old range. And what became very clear is that actually people just needed to simplify it down to 2 steps. So these look exactly the same, don't they? We have peptide emollient veil and emollient veil plus. They're like brother and sister. Yeah. They contain the same core active ingredient. So I've included a botanical peptide blend for kind of signaling and firming and plumping the skin. We have hyaluronic acid for hydration, and resveratrol, which is one of my favorite ingredients. If you like red wine, you'll know this ingredient. It's a phenol antioxidant. It's great for pigment stabilizing as well. And then the point of difference is, I'll show you the difference in texture so we can maybe compare with the one you're using. So the lighter one is kind of really kind of light. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
And then the conditioning ingredients in this, we've added safflower and we've added squalane. And then for the richer one, we've kept exactly the same active ingredients. You're getting the same type of treatment for your skin, but we've taken away the safflower and added apricot cannelle. This is a new product, so I just loaded up. So it's a much thicker product. You can see much thicker, it doesn't absorb straight away, but both are really, really silky and gorgeous. So this one has apricot cannelle, a high percentage of squalane, and then we've added candelilla, jojoba, and rice bran extract. So I'm saying the ingredients out loud so people kind of know these are things that are good to look for in their own skincare collection as well.
Yeah. So I can see you've got from oils, you've got jojoba and squalane, and apricot cannelle, but nothing. They're all kind of quite skin identical, aren't they? Yeah.
So you want things that are skin identical. If you're not sure where to start, squalane is my favorite one. It closely mimics your natural skin lipids. Lipids are like the mortar that hold our skin cells together, which are the bricks. They keep that top brick wall really, really healthy and strong. They also have antioxidant properties, and they also have delivery benefits. They can help some of your other ingredients to penetrate a bit deeper as well. So squalane is like a multitasking hero in my book, and I love it. So if you're not sure what kind of ingredient to look for, that's a really good one to go for. So that's your moisturizer sorted. Then your sunscreen. So show me what you're using in the morning.
Well, I have two things. I do have a foundation with SPF. It just happens to have SPF. I don't look for foundation with SPF because I know that you can't put enough foundation on to get the SPF protection, because I'll be just troweling it on and I'd look ridiculous. But so underneath that, actually at the moment I'm just using this. This is an Aven Factor 50 broad spectrum tinted cream. It's a chemical, not a mineral sunscreen. But it's for dry and sensitive skin. So like sun cream sometimes smells of the beach. I don't know. So I don't smell of the beach, and it's got a blurring effect. So
it looks like a nice product actually.
Really nice.
So you're absolutely right. You shouldn't rely on your makeup to give you sunscreen protection. If it's in there, that happens to be a bonus, but I wouldn't use that as your resource to protect your skin. Often, as you say, you need to apply a lot of makeup to provide a good level of protection. You would end up with layers and layers of it because you need to reapply it through the day as well. So a good starting point. I actually am a big fan of tinted sunscreens, because I think they also help to give you a bit of coverage as well. So for a lot of people, it takes away the need to use a BB cream or makeup as well. And Factor 50 is a really good starting point for people, because a lot of people don't use enough product. So if you're using a Factor 30, for example, and you're not using that kind of 10 pence pea size or 2 full finger lengths worth of product, you might actually only be getting a Factor 10 protection. So the higher the factor, the better, and that's a great way to start your day. And then a lot of people, they start their day really well. People are much better with sunscreens, but what often they don't do is reapply it. And when we look at formulations, they often are unstable after a couple of hours after application. So to really keep your protection going and to be most effective, you need to be able to reapply it through the day. And that's where people start to struggle. Now, clever formulators have now come up with great topper-upper products. I've got example of a couple. We've got the Decree Day Shield, which is a Factor 30, which is designed to go over your makeup to top up your sun's screen protection.
Is it a mist or?
It's a mist. It's a mineral only. So it's zinc oxide, titanium dioxide. I don't know if you can see here. Zinc oxide, titanium dioxide. It also contains rose water, rubium stem cell complex, which helps to protect against blue light. It's got green tea, white tea, and red tea extract, so it's your anti-pollutant protection as well. So it's kind of a nice multitasking product. This is a product I've just been gifted and I've been using for the last few weeks. It's from Garnier. It's called Over Makeup Super UV Factor 50, and I have to say I've been really impressed with it. So this is a nice product that I recommend. Have something that's designed to carry around in your bag and top up. And look for extra ingredients like hyaluronic acid, things that are a bit more hydrating. So you're not getting this cakey layer on your skin as you go through the day. So do you use any top
I do.
up?
I've got one by Bondi Sands, a spray that looks very much like your Ambre Solaire one. Yes, I do have that. I don't have it with me, but that's a really good one.
Great. So just to recap, we've got a nice hydrating morning cleanser, a water-based toner to rebalance our pH, a single uber multitasking serum, and 2 moisturizers, a light and a rich texture, which you can switch in and out according to your skin's needs, according to the seasons, and your sunscreen, Factor 50. Find a good product that really works for you, that goes well with your makeup if you like to wear makeup. If you don't want to have to wear makeup too, find a tinted product, look for a Factor 50, and then find a designated product to top up your protection through the day. Okay, now the good news is there's not a whole load of new products for nighttime, but there are certain things that I do like to change. So tell me about your nighttime cleanse.
Yeah, so my nighttime cleanse, I'd usually use something a bit richer. Actually, this Corres one is really good because it actually does take off makeup and SPF.
Yeah.
I'll often go in twice with that. I've got this a thicker, this is Bloom Effects. This is a new brand that I've been trying. I like a balm texture. It looks like quite like a gel, but it's an oil gel.
Okay.
Like a richer one for night.
Yeah. Okay. So again, you're quite good. Often I have a lot of my patients have loads of cleansers and it's kind of a bit random. Now, double cleansing is something I get asked about a lot. This is one very controversial step, which is very popular, but I often find people overdo their double cleanse. They literally have 2 kind of cleansers, different products, and they're taking off their makeup, but they're also really stripping their skin barrier. So my top tip is to start off with a micellar water. I'm currently using this one. This is from Bioderma. Nice product. So use that to kind of take off the first layer of your makeup, your sunscreen, and then use something a little bit more hardcore. I recommend this product from my range. This is the Decree Deep Cleanse. This contains loads of detoxifying and decongesting ingredients. So you're absolutely right. This is where you want something a little bit more kind of hardworking. This is where I do allow some exfoliants in your nighttime, in your skincare routine. So in this, we use lactic acid and salicylic acid. So superficially exfoliating AHA and a deeper acting BHA to kind of go into your pores and unblock them. We use bentonite and kaolin clay, which are like detoxifying magnets that draw the impurities out of your pores, and then zinc and sulfur, which are anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial minerals. So the kind of texture you want, again, if you're prone to breakouts, I wouldn't use an oily balm cleanser.
Yeah,
your skin
my skin is dry.
Okay, it is. Okay, so oils feel really luxurious and really nourishing, but what they can do when you're using a lot of oil on your skin, that's not a skin identical oil, you can actually dry your skin out with it. Although it feels really nourishing, with continued use, you can dry out your skin. So oil in some formulations can actually encourage water loss through the skin. It can also send a signal to your oil producing glands to say, oh, there's plenty of oil, you don't need me, I'll just like chill out and stop working. So you go through this cycle where your skin dries itself out, and then your skin goes, oh my gosh, I'm dry, I need to overproduce oil. And it starts to go through this waxing and waning oil cycle. Dry, oily, dry, oily. So I'm not a fan for most skin types of using those oily balms. However, I haven't looked at that formulation. It might be great, but the majority of balms are not that skin friendly, and they can cause this chaotic cycle. Okay for a spa day or kind of a once a week facial, but not for your everyday use.
So I like that because it feels like it's going deeper, but what you're saying is that the clays and the acids are probably doing
I mean, if you're going to choose, look for things like, if you've got sensitive skin, lactic acid can be great because it's a nice, gentle exfoliating alpha hydroxy acid, so great for more sensitive skin. Salicylic acid is great if you are prone to breakouts and congestion. Pyruvic acid is another alpha keto acid, very good for congestion, breakout prone skin. You mentioned PHA. That's also a good step to introduce a PHA product because it's got gentle exfoliating action. It's quite a large molecule, so it doesn't tend to cause sensitivity. And then, of course, fruit enzymes becoming massively popular in nighttime products. Things like papaya and pineapple enzymes, a great way.
I have an enzyme peel here from Versa.
Right.
It's
that's a nice
AHA
product.
and PHA enzyme peel.
Okay.
Which is gentler than an acid, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So so this is the texture of the nighttime cleanser that I use. It's kind of like quite a creamy product still, but you apply it to dry skin and then you add water and it emulsifies your makeup and oil. So it's strong, but it's gentle. It's not leaving your skin dry and tight.
Yeah.
You then move on to your toner. the same as the morning. You don't need a different toner.
Okay.
And then you move on to your night serum. So what do you have at night time at the moment?
I have got my retinol. So I always use the retinol. This is a retinal and granactive retinoid serum.
Yeah.
It's bright yellow because I think retinoids are bright yellow.
Yeah.
And they don't say how strong that one is, but it's a 2.5% complex overall. So I don't.
Okay. So actually, that's a really nice combination of ingredients. Granactive retinoid in particular is one of my favourite retinoids. It's a very versatile retinoid. You can use it whether you have rosacea, acne, pigmentation, anti-aging. So that's a great product to use. If you're new to retinoids, then granactive retinoid is also a good starting point. You don't get peeling and redness and sun sensitivity with a granactive retinoid. Again, you're great, you're just using a singular night serum, but many people, this is where they really go to town and they layer on loads of different products. So in the Decree one, I'll just say some of the ingredients because these are great ones to look for. Remembering the physiological changes I mentioned happen at night time, you want to support your barrier hydration and prevent that water loss. So we've got rose water, we've got high molecular weight hyaluronic acid in this as well, and squalane, which we mentioned, that skin identical lipid. To help with those kind of hyperactive keratinocytes and fibroblasts, we've got granactive retinoid that's great for stimulating repair, boosting rebuilding of connective tissue, breaking down damage. Retinoid is great for also getting those melanocytes, those pigment producing cells, raring to go for the next day as well. So it's a great multitasking active ingredient, great if you're prone to pore congestion and breakouts as well. Helps to reduce overgrowth of C. acnes bacteria as well. Stem cells are great, plant-based stem cells. We use Swiss apple stem cells in this as well. This is where it's also quite good to add in things that are quite calming. So Conjus crispus extract or any of the algae extracts are quite nice. And I also love peptides. So in this product, you get kind of all of that goodness in one. Again, I had 5 night serums in my old range and we put them into one product. So look for those more multitasking products. I do like that product you have, but I would probably add in something like a squalane serum as well, just to kind of get your barrier. You're not really supporting your barrier function at that step. So that would be my kind of missing link for you would be to add something a little bit more. Maybe you have something that you could use there. I have
a moisturizer, which is the Organic Pharmacy Rose Diamond Face Cream. I feel now you're going to tell me off this, but it's quite heavy.
Yeah.
I think it's their kind of heavy duty anti-ager. But I wear it because I know it costs a fortune.
Yeah, exactly. It looks a bit grimy as well from where I'm standing.
Yeah.
So that might be one that needs to go in the bin, I think.
Yeah.
So you're actually,
there you go.
Yeah, well, you've clearly enjoyed it and your skin is beautiful. So again, listen to what your skin's telling you. But, in terms of your nighttime moisturizer, the qualities are similar to what you've used in the daytime. You want that combination of humectant to draw moisture in, glycerin, hyaluronic acid, great to look for in your moisturizer. You want something that's going to have emollient properties, so your squalane, your jojoba, your apricot canal, all of those things are really nice conditioning, non-pore clogging ingredients to look for as well. So often a thicker barrier at night time is quite good because, as I mentioned, the epidermal barrier is weaker at night, so you want to have something that's going to restore that. So that's a great product. And the texture, I need to look at the ingredient list to tell you whether I love it or not. But I do love peptides in a nighttime moisturizer as well.
Okay. Oh, that's a good idea. We've got a couple of questions about eye cream, and say if you wanted to treat puffy eyes, Jackie's saying she's got hereditary puffy eyes and dark circles. When would be the moment in your skincare routine to address that?
Okay, well, in my old range, again, I keep referring to that, I used to have an eye cream, and you often put that on before you do your kind of face moisturizer. But what I found is when I was doing my research into eye products is often the ingredient list were almost identical to the brand's moisturizer. So I wanted to create one less step for people to worry about. So when I designed Decree, I made sure that the serums and the moisturizers were ocular tested and safe for the eye area too. And lots of brands are starting to do that too. So if you want a multitasking product that you can use on the eyes and the lips too, then that's one less product to worry about. In terms of ingredients that are great for the eyes, you want things that are going to hydrate, but they're going to support barrier function. So ceramides are good to look for, peptides, nice hydrating hyaluronic acid. Caffeine can be quite good for de-stressing and depuffing tired eyes. Vitamin K and arnica nice ingredients to look for in an eye cream as well. So think chamomile, also quite calming and soothing. So nice kind of calming, hydrating ingredients.
Yeah. Would you say you needed an eye cream, or if an eye cream, or is it really only if you're looking to address an issue?
So if you've got a brand that's actually designed their moisturizer and serums to be used on the eye area, you don't need a separate eye cream.
Yeah.
And many brands are moving in that direction. But some people actually quite like the eye cream set, they like a separate product. If you do like a separate product, then look for those kind of ingredients that I've just listed. And they're great for multitasking, hydrating, reducing kind of crepiness around the eyes, and also helping to reduce dark circles and puffiness. And this is where it's great to bring a little bit of like lymphatic drainage, a bit of tapping around the eye.
Yeah.
If you've got devices, cool cubes, or even teaspoons that you've kept in the freezer, great for kind of massaging your eye product in.
Brilliant. We're coming towards the end of our time. We could talk for hours, but if you're still have a question for Anita, please put it in the chat. We've probably got time for one or two. But meanwhile, Anita, is there anything else we can do to declutter my skincare routine?
Well, I think you've actually got quite a good streamlined routine already. So I would just make sure you kind of go back and look at it and see if any of those things we discussed are relevant to you. Put those things that have been, that have expired or have gone past their PO date, and try and look at how you can streamline things as much as possible with your new purchases. But actually your routine's pretty good at the moment. I would just say make sure you have more of a focus on the exfoliating steps in the nighttime when your skin has time to repair itself, and give your barrier a little bit more nourishment in the morning. I would say that's just the slight kind of thing to work on.
Thank you. I've got two questions. One is fake tan. Oh, anything, we've got a question in the chat, anything specific for necks? And we also had a question about when you're working out, if you're running in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. So fake tan, first of all, when to do fake tan. If you're using actives, it can be quite tricky, particularly if you're tanning your face. If you're using retinoids and things, you can be more at risk of getting quite patchy results. So if you're going to fake tan, do it at nighttime. Don't do it in the morning. Do it at nighttime. And actually, one good strategy is to use a product regularly. So every day, alternate days, wash your face, apply your fake tan, do your housework, have your evening meal, then wash it off. So it's called short contact exposure to the tanning product. And then you do your night routine as normal. And that's a great way of getting a nice even result. And then if there are any issues in the morning, you can quickly correct them. So don't do your fake tan in the morning. It just often ends in a disaster. Short contact if you're using actives. If you're not using active ingredients like retinoids, then having one of the gradual tanners is often a good thing to do as well. They often have kind of moisturizing properties. It's easier to integrate into your routine. Body fake tan. Again, I recommend doing that at night time. It's quite good to do your shave and exfoliation the day before, so you've got a nice smooth surface to apply to. And I love, again, the gradual tanning products because they tend to give you less streaky results. Make sure you put a barrier over your knees and your ankles so you don't get kind of the marks there.
So like a balmy type thing I put on my
neck. Extend your skincare down to your neck. Necks get really neglected, so your neck benefits from exactly the same ingredients that we've just talked through, particularly the serum steps and the moisturizer steps and the sunscreen. So start looking at this whole area to treat. In terms of if you feel like your neck's gone beyond what home care can do for you, then it's good to go and see a specialist and get some advice. There are loads of treatments. I love a combination of things like radio frequency and ultrasound combined with Profilo. If you've got thick platysmal bands here, Botox can be great for that as well. So a combination of treatments usually works well, but get the basics right and make sure you're nourishing your neck skin as well.
And of course you can ask one of Dr Anita's team in your consultation as well by emailing the I'm just going to see if I can get that email up again, events@decree.co.uk, and saying that you'd like the 15-minute consultation. One quick tip for hands, aging hands.
Okay, so again, your hands, the skin on your hands often gets neglected. It's very exposed to UV every day. So one quick fix is to make sure you apply your sunscreen to your hands and reapply it through the day. But the skin on the hands also gets quite dehydrated. It's exposed to, particularly now, lots of hand sanitizing and washing. So make sure you always restore your skin barrier every time you wash your hands. Carry around a good hand cream. And make sure it's ceramide rich, a nice thick texture, hyaluronic acid, glycerin, vitamin E, really nice ingredients to look for to help build the kind of the skin barrier back up again.
We had one question earlier about running. If you're doing sweaty exercise in the morning, what should you do beforehand and afterwards?
Okay, it depends whether you're going to do an indoor workout or outdoor. If it's indoor, I do recommend when you get up, do a nice gentle, your nice kind of light hydrating cleanse, and then go about your workout. And then after you've worked out, in the shower, use your nighttime cleanser, so that the more detoxifying cleanser, to remove kind of oil and sweat and debris, and then do your day routine as normal. If you are going outdoors and it is daylight hours, then after your light kind of cream or gel cleanser, apply your sunscreen, and then do the same steps when you finish your workout. So it is quite good. That's often where people find they get breakouts, because they get this really kind of hot, sweaty skin. They don't remove that, and then it stays on their skin all day. So it is quite good to do that gentle step pre and a bit more of a detoxifying step afterwards.
Okay. Excellent, brilliant advice. Well, thank you. Gosh, I think this has been so full of interesting information, and everybody, you'll get the recording tomorrow. I'll certainly be watching it back and taking notes, and in fact we should write it up for on site on Get the Gloss, because it's such a good reference. And thank you so much for going through my skincare routine. I've learnt loads, and I work in the industry, and there's, you know, you've taught me to get my marker pen right on the bottom of my packaging and really kind of make sure that my skincare is working for me. So thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. I love talking about anything to do with skin, so I've really enjoyed myself.
Oh, thank you. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you at our next masterclass. Thank you. Katie says, thank you, really insightful. Jackie, so much information. Thank you. David, thank you. Love the products. You can apply around the eye and lips too. Looking forward to trying the whole kit. Was there a code to repurchase? Yes, GTG20. You can get 20% off the next 2 weeks on the Decree website, but we'll send you the recording tomorrow with all that information, so you have it. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks. Bye-bye.